The HSS Solaris emerged from slip space with a quiet shimmer, as if reality hesitated before letting the massive silhouette glide into the void. Captain Adrian Holt stood at the central command platform, hands clasped behind his back, eyes scanning the panorama unfolding across the forward viewport. The Cygnus Rift stretched outward in layered veils of fractured starlight, a dangerous region known for ambushes, derelicts, and entire fleets that vanished without leaving a signature. Even through reinforced glass, the place felt hostile. "Slip space transit complete," announced Helia, the ship's AI. Her voice carried a calm, measured tone, free of theatrics. "All systems are stable. We have arrived at the rift's designated waypoint." Holt nodded. "Status of the convoy?" Commander Ria Takahashi checked her console. "Medical fleet is 10 minutes behind us. Looks like they made it through the corridor without incident." For now, Holt thought. Trouble rarely announced itself early in the rift. The Dominion enjoyed dramatic timing. Arrogance always colored their decisions. This time, they were offended by the mere idea of humanity escorting medical aid through what they considered sovereign territory. Sending one ship, the newest and least understood dreadnought, felt like a provocation to them. To Holt, it was a chance to prove what Earth had achieved, even if the rest of the galaxy dismissed the effort. On the lower deck, Dr. Malik wiped engine grease from his gloves while reviewing the ship's energy metrics. The Solaris Sunforge core thrummed like a captured star. It was the most dangerous and untested machine humanity had ever built. Malik knew its limits better than anyone. He also knew those limits came with consequences. Holt read the concern in Malik's expression, even from across the bridge. "Relax," Holt said. "We're not planning to ignite anything today." "I'd very much like to keep it that way," Malik replied. "The core is stable, but pushing it beyond its calibration cycle without a full diagnostic is still risky. We'll only use what we must." Helia's voice interrupted the exchange. "Captain, I detect 3 vessels on approach vector. Vora Dominion signatures. Right on schedule." Holt straightened. "Open wideband." Static hummed through the speakers, followed by sharp, guttural laughter. A Vora officer appeared on the holo display, towering, scaled, and grinning with rows of serrated teeth. His eyes flickered with amusement as he examined the Solaris. "Human vessel," he said, mocking each syllable. "Do you truly intend to cross our domain with that experimental crate?" Ria muttered. "Here we go." Holt kept his expression neutral. "This ship is authorized to escort humanitarian aid. We're not here to challenge your territory." The alien snorted. "One human ship enters the rift, and you expect us to believe the little mammals aren't planning a spectacle?" His grin widened. "No matter. Your journey ends here." Before Holt could respond, the transmission cut. Helia immediately expanded tactical scans, her voice steady. "Captain, those were reconnaissance units. More signatures emerging from slip space." "How many?" Holt asked. 57. The number hit the bridge like a physical blow. Ria stared at her console. Malik swore under his breath. Holt exhaled slowly. The Dominion hadn't come to intercept. They'd come to humiliate. A full armada for one ship, an insult wrapped in brute force. Ria turned toward Holt. "They brought an entire war fleet for us. This isn't an escort dispute. They want to make an example. They think the Solaris is a bluff," Holt replied. "They want the galaxy to see our ship burn." Helia dimmed the lights slightly as a precautionary shift in power allocation rippled through the hull. "Captain, long-range transmissions indicate over 14,000 live network channels have tuned into the confrontation. Several neutral species are broadcasting commentary." "Perfect." The Dominion wanted a spectacle, and they'd arranged an audience large enough to watch a civilization break or rise. Holt felt the weight of that expectation settle on his shoulders, not as fear, but as something sharper, a responsibility he had carried since the day his sister died during a Dominion purge others called a pacification. Her face flashed across his memory, young, bright-eyed, hopeful. The Dominion took her future without hesitation. Holt had no intention of giving them anything today. Bring us forward, Holt ordered. Maintain formation. Weapons on standby, but do not lock yet. Yes, Captain, Rhea replied. The Solaris glided toward the rift's central expanse. The Armada revealed itself in full, rows upon rows of serrated cruisers, massive carriers with hulls shaped like armored beasts, and the colossal flagship at the center, scaled metal plated in crimson. Dominion war banners shimmered across its surface, glowing like embers. A deep voice cut through the calm channels. So, the humans send their newest toy. How quaint. High Marshal Karvak appeared on the holo display, towering above his officers, his presence radiating absolute confidence. His red-plated armor gleamed beneath pulsing command lights. Karvak, Holt said. Humanity requests passage for medical relief. We are not your enemy today. Requests? Karvak laughed. You stand before the Dominion with one vessel and dare speak of requests? Humans always misjudge their importance. You believe your species has earned the right to navigate our space freely. We're not seeking conflict. But you will receive it. A single human warship insults my station. I will not permit such insolence. Your defeat will be instructive. Holt met the alien's gaze, refusing to look away. Marshal, you made one mistake today. Karvak raised a brow. And what is that, little mammal? You gave me a clear shot. The Dominion officers laughed, but something flickered in Karvak's eyes, uncertainty, quickly masked by disdain. Helia's voice cut softly into Holt's earpiece. Captain, their forward batteries are charging. Of course they are, Holt murmured. Rhea looked at him. Orders? Holt breathed once, grounding himself. Every second stretched taut. The Solaris hovered alone against a wall of hostile metal, yet Holt felt no tremor of doubt. What the Dominion saw as weakness, he saw as opportunity. Prepare to maneuver, Holt said. Hold fire. Rhea blinked. Hold? They're aiming everything at us. We wait for the right angle, Holt replied. Trust me. The Dominion fleet arched into formation, aligning their weapons for a strike meant to erase the Solaris in one devastating blast. Karvak's voice returned, resonant and triumphant. Humanity will watch your end. Holt lifted his chin, eyes steady. We'll see. The first wave of enemy energy crackled to life across the void, and Chapter 1 closed on the edge of the storm. The Dominion's opening barrage illuminated the rift like a storm of jagged suns. Dozens of plasma beams converged on the HSS Solaris, each one capable of ripping apart a cruiser in seconds. The bridge lights dimmed as Helia rerouted power to the forward shielding. The Solaris absorbed the initial impact, but the shock reverberated through the hull, a deep metallic groan echoing across the command deck. Rhea steadied herself against her console. Shields at 88%. They're testing us. No, Holt replied. They're measuring how long it takes to burn us down. Another volley detonated across the Solaris armor. The deck quivered. Sparks cascaded from a panel near Malik, but he waved off the damage and focused on the core's stability readouts. They're not holding back, Malik said. If they keep hammering us, I'll have to reinforce the coolant conduits. Holt kept his gaze locked on the tactical display. Enemy ships were repositioning, tightening the net. Helia, confirm their formation. The AI responded immediately. 3 assault wings forming a trident pattern. Their goal is encirclement, followed by saturation fire. They believe we will attempt retreat. Holt almost smiled. Good. Their assumptions will make this easier. Rhea turned toward him. Captain, we're outnumbered. If we wait too long, we strike at the moment they expect surrender. Holt interrupted. Not before. The Dominion cruisers advanced in perfect synchrony. Their engines burned crimson, leaving trails slicing across the darkness. Karvak's flagship remained central, towering above the formation like a throne of metal and fury. A new transmission crackled through, dripping with contempt. Karvak's voice filled the bridge. Solaris, your shields flicker. Your vessel trembles. Humanity should know when to kneel. Holt didn't answer immediately. He waited until the enemy formation reached its critical alignment, when every ship overlapped in an invisible chain of vulnerability. Then he spoke. "We don't kneel." Rhea's eyes widened as she recognized the pattern Holt had been waiting for. "Captain, that angle, you're aiming for." "Helia," Holt said calmly. "Prepare Sunforge Protocol." Malik's voice jumped an octave. No, wait! The core hasn't finished its stabilization cycle. If we ignite it at this level, we either ignite or die," Holt replied. "Choose." Malik swallowed hard, then nodded. "Activating preliminary charge. Diverting non-essential systems." Helia's voice deepened as the core transitions began. "Energy lattice forming. Solar compression at 20% and rising." The deck hummed, the vibration building like a slow heartbeat turning violent. The Solaris hull glimmered as heat bled into the armor, radiating a faint amber glow. "Rhea," Holt ordered. "Lock forward targeting array on the lead cruiser." "Target locked," she said. On the display, the Dominion formation tightened further, pushing in for the kill. "They think we're weakening," Helia noted. "Let them think," Holt replied. The core reached its threshold. The lights flickered. The air buzzed with static. Every screen dimmed under Helia's control to protect the crew from the pulse about to be unleashed. "Sunforge ready," Helia announced. Holt lifted his hand. "Fire!" The Solaris erupted. A beam of superheated solar plasma burst from the forward array, a condensed inferno brighter than any weapon humanity had ever engineered. It tore through space like a spear of living sunlight, carving directly into the Dominion's lead vessel. The cruiser didn't explode, it disintegrated, its hull vaporizing in a ring of molten fragments. The beam continued, slicing through the formation. 11 ships vanished in expanding clouds of debris, beams, shattered armor, collapsing shields, an entire assault wing erased in seconds. The rift fell silent. The only sound on the Solaris bridge was the soft, fading echo of the core cooling as Helia dispersed the excess energy. Rhea exhaled slowly. 12 ships. Gone. Malik stared at his console, stunned. The core held, it actually held. Across the galaxy, live broadcasts captured the moment. Chat channels erupted. Commentators shouted over each other. Neutral species gasped. Human colonies roared in disbelief and awe. Dozens of Dominion officers stood frozen on their own bridges as sensor data scrolled in, confirming what none of them thought possible. The Dominion had lost an entire wave. Karvak's voice returned, but the confidence was cracked, replaced by fury. "Human filth! You dare challenge the Dominion with forbidden energy? You think this single trick will save you?" Holt responded with utter calm. "It wasn't a trick," Karvak snarled. "Arm the full fleet. Crush them." The Dominion Armada surged forward. Frigates, destroyers, carriers, all accelerating toward the Solaris in a rage-fueled assault. They fired in overlapping arcs, a rain of plasma and gravitational missiles streaking through the void. Rhea quickly recalibrated shields. "We won't survive another direct hit of that magnitude. We need maneuvering options." "Helia," Holt said. "Map every vector of their incoming fire." "Mapping," Helia replied. The display filled with lines arcing toward the Solaris. "I can calculate predictive trajectories with 98% accuracy." "Use it," Holt ordered. "Guide us through the gaps." The Solaris dove into motion. The massive dreadnought seemed to glide, its vector shifts impossibly precise. Enemy shots streaked past, close enough to illuminate the bridge in brief flashes, but none found their mark. Malik clung to his console. "How are we dodging this much fire in a ship this size?" Helia answered. "Humans designed me to think in patterns your enemies don't anticipate." Rhea smirked despite the tension. "I like her." The Dominion fleet attempted to tighten formation again, but the destruction of their first wing had thrown off their timing. Gaps widened. Their synchronized fire fell out of rhythm. Holt saw the opportunity. "Helia, prepare gravity lance arrays." "Ready," she said. Target their missile clusters. The Solaris unleashed concentrated gravitational pulses. They swirled across the battlefield like invisible whirlpools, catching enemy ordnance mid-flight. Dozens of Dominion missiles reversed trajectory, whipping back toward their launchers. Explosions tore through the alien lines. Rhea clenched her fists. They're breaking formation. They'll recover quickly, Holt replied. We need something decisive. Malik scanned the fleet. Their central command spine is exposed whenever the carriers pivot. If we disrupt that, coordination collapses. Holt nodded. Helia, load a micro-singularity torpedo. The AI hesitated. Warning, destabilization risk is significant. We don't have another option. The torpedo launched, a small dark sphere trailing faint distortion ripples. It pierced through the Dominion's shield barrier and detonated, creating a momentary pocket of compressed gravity. The shockwave spread rapidly. The Dominion's command signals flickered. Ships staggered. Their formation dissolved as vessels scrambled to restore alignment. A stunned Dominion officer appeared briefly on intercepted comms. Our links are down. What did the humans? The feed cut again. Holt leaned forward, voice low. Marshal Karvak. The lesson continues. The Dominion fleet reeled from the Singularity shockwave, their formation shredded, their coordination collapsing into scattered clusters. Alarms echoed across their vessels as command channels flickered with corrupted data streams. Amid the confusion, the HSS Solaris held position, its dark hull glowing faintly with the remaining heat of its earlier discharge. Holt stood at the center of the bridge, calm despite the chaos filling the tactical display. Helia's voice reverberated through the deck. Dominion command patterns remain unstable. Probability of reorganization within 2 minutes. Then we strike before they recover, Holt said. Rhea kept her eyes locked on the display. Their carriers are drifting off axis. If we push now, we can cripple every support vessel before they stabilize. Malik exhaled sharply. The core's stress index is rising. If we charge the main conduit again without cooling, we risk a cascade failure. Holt didn't turn. If we wait, we give them time to regain control, and then we die. What's our safe output? Malik hesitated. There is no safe output. Everything past 30% is a gamble. Then we gamble smart, Holt replied. Helia, bring the core to 25%, reroute coolant through the secondary valves, and prepare a directed pulse. Understood, the AI answered. Commencing charge. The Solaris hummed as the core awakened again. Pale light seeped from the conduits lining the walls. The ship vibrated, but the shaking felt almost controlled, as though it were bracing for the violence to come. Holt's jaw tightened while he watched the Dominion's flagship reposition amid the drifting debris. Karvak wasn't retreating. He was preparing a counterstrike. A sudden, brutal surge of energy erupted from the Dominion command vessel. A dark matter crucible cannon fired, sending a spiraling bolt across the rift. The blast sliced through space like a rippling wound, grazing the Solaris port shields. The deck lurched violently. Rhea steadied herself. Direct hit on the port arc. Shields at 42%. Malik scanned the readings. That weapon will tear us apart if it lands squarely. Helia confirmed with clinical precision. Correct. The next shot must be avoided. Holt took a breath, steady and deliberate. Helia, angle us 30 degrees starboard. Bring the graviton stabilizers to full and maintain charge on the core. Rhea turned toward him. Captain, if we keep charging while taking hits like that, the coolant conduits will burst. Holt finally looked at her. If we don't finish this now, Karvak will pursue us to the edge of the galaxy. We can't leave the rift with him alive. She held his gaze, then nodded. Understood. Another crucible blast launched from the Dominion flagship. Helia initiated a sharp vector shift, sliding the Solaris beneath the attack. The beam tore through the space the ship had occupied only moments before. Holt felt the heat of the weapon through the shimmering distortion left behind. Karvak is charging the cannon again, Helia said. Bring the core to 30%, Holt ordered. Malik shook his head. 30% is a point of no return. Exactly, Holt replied. A heavy silence fell. Malik exhaled slowly. Then we hope the ship holds together. The Solaris glow deepened, saturating the bridge with faint gold light. Energy readings spiked as the core approached the edge of its tolerance. The entire vessel trembled, its metal structure groaning under forces it was never meant to endure. On the tactical display, Dominion vessels scrambled. Their command signals flickered, and their movements became frantic. The carriers attempted to pull back, but without their formations, they drifted into each other's flight paths. Fighters launched in confused swarms, unsure of their targets. Holt pointed to the display. Helia, open a channel to the Dominion fleet. She complied. Karvak appeared, seething. His armor was cracked, and smoke poured behind him. Yet his voice roared with rage. Human insect! You wield forces you do not comprehend. Holt's tone remained level. You brought an armada to kill one ship. Now you face the consequences. You think this victory will change anything? Karvak snarled. Humanity will burn for this insult. Holt leaned slightly forward. Not today! He cut the channel. Helia, Holt said. Prepare for a full solar surge. Rhea inhaled sharply. You're going to fire directly at the flagship? It's time to end this. Helia's voice resonated through the ship, deeper than before. Solar surge charging. Conduit temperatures rising. The bridge darkened as energy flowed toward the forward array. Outside, the Solaris grew brighter, its glow intensifying until it resembled a miniature star. Karvak's fleet panicked. Cruisers attempted evasive maneuvers. Fighters scattered. The Dominion flagship aligned its shields, bracing for impact. Captain, Helia warned. Core integrity is approaching critical threshold. Hold, Holt said. Malik stared at the core readings. We can't sustain this much longer. Hold, Holt repeated. The Dominion flagship concentrated all remaining power into its crucible cannon. The weapon crackled with unstable energy, its coils overheating, its hull fracturing under the strain. Rhea whispered. He's risking everything. So are we, Holt replied. The crucible cannon fired. Helia! Holt shouted. Release the surge! The Solaris unleashed its full power. A beam of condensed solar fury erupted from the forward array, brighter than anything the rift had seen in centuries. The crucible blast collided with the surge, but the Dominion's energy disintegrated upon impact, overwhelmed instantly by the Starforge torrent. The solar beam struck the flagship directly, ripping through its shields, hull, and command deck in one catastrophic burst. The flagship detonated in a radiant explosion. Fragments spiraled across the void. Silence followed. Dominion ships faltered. Their fighters fled. Cruisers broke formation and retreated in every direction. The once mighty armada was reduced to scattered survivors fleeing the wreckage of their commander. Helia spoke softly. Captain, the field is clear. Holt lowered his head. For a moment, he allowed himself a quiet breath. Status? Rhea answered, voice trembling. We're battered but alive. Malik slumped back in relief. The core is stabilizing. Holt looked at the drifting debris, then closed his eyes. Broadcast to the galaxy? Helia opened the channel. Holt spoke clearly. This is the HSS Solaris. The Dominion's attack has failed. Earth will not bow. Across star systems, humanity cheered. The rift grew quiet again, but its silence felt different, less like danger, more like acknowledgement. The Solaris had survived. And humanity had been heard.